MPN's Power Player is sponsored by ZDMS Dealer Management System, the heart of technology in your dealership, and the engine that drives productivity and profitability. Schedule a demo today at zdms.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Power Players. I'm Greg Jones for MPN, and today my guest is Mark Wolfram. He is with Big Bike Parts. He came in today from Minneapolis. Mark, great to see you.
Great.
Thanks for being here in the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excited to talk to you a little bit about your background in this industry as well as what's been going on at Big Bike Parts lately. I know you guys do a bunch of stuff with apparel and accessories and different things for all segments of power sports.
Sure.
But for the folks that might not be familiar with you, let's start with that background and kind of your path here in the power sports industry. You know, how'd you get started?
By accident. Yeah. Back in the kind of late 90s, early 2000s, I started a .com, and that turned out to be a motorcycle accessories type lifestyle.com. And somebody said, my partner at the time, he said that, hey, for us to get the word out there, we have to go to the rallies. And so we went out and we bought a 28-foot trailer with a 3/4 ton Dodge, and we started doing the rallies. And eventually, what we said was we didn't have any money, so we're like, how are we going to pay for these rallies? And we ended up getting sponsors that we put on the side of the trailer that helped us pay for the sponsors. And
yeah.
Wells Cargo turned out to be one of those that we had a great relationship with for many, many years. So the first year went really well. And the second year, Wells Cargo ended up making us the largest trailer they ever made, because they're usually just tow-behind trailer.
Sure.
And this turned out to be a trailer for a semi, so it was full size. And we had success we found that a lot of companies actually really valued us going to the rallies and helping them there. And so we immediately picked up Pirelli and Metzler. And then after Pirelli and Metzler had a meeting in Irvine, California with the MAG Group.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So kind of sat down in Irvine with Tom McGann, who originally came from Burton, and then he became the CEO of MAG in the early days of MAG. So Terry Vance from Vance & Hines was in the meeting, and that was, I didn't really, I knew Vance & Hines, but to me it was, here's a new guy, he's pretty cool. Yeah. And we ended up working with the MAG Group, and part of the MAG Group was Kuryakin.
Right.
And so then we went, I got really entrenched with Kuryakin because Kuryakin was all about the rallies. And I got to know Tom Rudd. And we eventually kind of merged my company with MAG. Okay. And I ended up really focused on Kuryakin at the time in the early days. And Tom Rudd really was my mentor there. And I still, we just talked yesterday on the phone for quite a while. He lives in Wisconsin, and I work out of Wisconsin, and I live in Minnesota. But that was a great experience, and so eventually got focused on Kuryakin, and it was a great organization with some great people, and we were able to grow that significantly. And we also helped a lot of the other brands like Performance Machine, Perry Sands. He was the founder of Performance Machine, so it was great having the opportunity to work around him and his family. Mm-hmm. And got to know John Parham that started J&P Cycles, John and Jill.
Okay.
And they have a son, Zach, that's still in the industry, and they're a great family. And then there was the Sims family that was with Mustang Seats. And so I got to work with them, and they founded Mustang Seats.
Yeah.
And so that was a thrill. And then we had Progressive Suspension as well, and then Metzler Pirelli going at the same time. So quite a bit. And Metzler Pirelli just on promotion side. The rest of those other brands were MAG Group companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing led to another, and we expanded globally, and we were able to grow, even with unit sales declining. I think after 2005, 2006, I can't remember now, but we were still able to grow and scale up, and it was an exciting ride. And I eventually got to the point where I had some other opportunities, and I left right before, really at the end of 2013, and explored those other opportunities. I think one thing I want to say too is, not just within the company you get to meet great people, but also your vendors that you work with, and also the distributors that you work with.
Sure.
And Fred Fox, I know from Parts Unlimited, Le Mans, Drag Specialties.
Yep.
I was able to spend a good amount of time with him, and he unfortunately just passed. But he was a decent person. And he built, he's really an icon in the industry, and all the people around him were fantastic as well during that process. But I just wanted to bring Fred up because he did pass away.
Right.
And
right.
It's sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
As many of you know, taking physical inventory is something you do once, maybe twice a year, and sometimes you avoid it altogether. With large quantities of parts, accessories, chemicals, tires, and various other merchandise throughout your store, it's not a simple task to complete. There is a better solution. A solution that gives you the ability to cycle inventory counts anytime without disruption to your business. That solution? ZDMS RFID Physical Inventory. With RFID tags placed on inventory, you can cycle counts or conduct physical inventory with a RFID handheld scanner by simply pulling the trigger and walking around your dealership. RFID scanners do not require line of sight, so counters don't need to bend down under partitions, climb shelves, or position items to be visually seen to be counted in most cases. Contact your ZDMS representative to learn more about RFID physical inventory and how ZDMS is the only dealer management system in the powersports industry building the technology your dealership needs.
So, Mark, obviously you've gotten a chance to work with a number of great people, a number of great brands, and a few companies. So, what ultimately got you into the position you're at with Big Bike Parts?
Well, I like growing companies, being part of a growing company. And so I stayed in touch with a lot of people from the industry. And I was just on the phone. I wasn't really happy being outside of the industry. I was really happy because I was able to do things that I wasn't prior, able to do. I was able to learn new skills and stuff like that. And I didn't want to get maybe pigeonholed in just like one thing at the time, I thought.
Yeah.
But while I was outside the industry, I really always dreamed of, because I spent an awful lot of time at the rallies, and that was kind of my life is, Kuryakyn was new product development information you got from the customers at the rallies, a lot of it. And then you also put the parts on, and that helps the promotion aspect of it as well. And then they leave the rallies and they go talk to other people. But I miss that, and I also miss these types of things. And it's an industry of passion, and I love every day I go to work. And look, you're always going to have issues, and there's always challenges, and that's great. But I think with what we do, it's a lot more fun even when you're having those tough days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess to answer your question is, I was talking with Uwe Druckenmüller. He was the founder and CEO of Cruiser Customizing from Livermore, California. And the two of us helped each other out quite a bit as far as growing together with Kuryakyn and Cruiser Customizing. And so I've always stayed in touch with him. And he said, he's one of our conversations, he's like, "How's it going, Mark?" And I said, "Not great. I'm not happy." And he's like, "Would you ever consider getting back in the industry?" I said, "Geez, I would love to." And so he just spoke with Ricky Goldstein, and his brother Harry had just bought Big Bike Parts. And so we went through a process. I never like to make big decisions, really quick.
Sure.
So I got to know them. And, I think it was probably like a 6-month process maybe. And eventually joined up, and here we are today.
Yeah, awesome. And how long have you been with Big Bike Parts now?
I have been with Big Bike Parts probably a year and 2 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And so you're still kind of new, but got a full year plus under your belt here. And I also understand that Big Bike Parts itself has some new ownership and new blood kind of coming into the fold.
Yep, the Goldsteins, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
two brothers.
yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and just, you coming in new with along with them and what's been changing and what's maybe been challenging? And
Sure. Whenever you come into an organization, and most of the people that are at the building have been there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years, even 40 years, right? And so the new guy always has to prove his mettle, no matter what you've done in the past. And so, that's what I try to do, to try to gain acceptance and earn the respect of everybody that I work with, right? So, we've gone through that, and you don't really want to change things too quickly either, because a lot of companies I've seen, they go in and they kind of wreck a good thing, and then they end up running out good people. Mm-hmm. And without the people, you really don't have anything. To me, experience is everything. When I've seen experience leave companies, it didn't work out very well for them.
Right.
Yeah. So you really try to make an effort to hold on to great people, and then you try to make an effort to recruit new people that are going to really help and hopefully gel with the culture.
Yep.
But you're actually kind of shifting the culture too a little bit in some cases where people are pretty comfortable doing what they're doing, and I get it. But then if you want to grow a company, there's always interesting challenges that come about that, and how to make it sync with the culture is challenging at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now with the folks, it's just we're in the process of this. Last year we produced 12 new parts. Okay, and then this year we're doing about between 60 and 80. I'll let you know in December.
Yeah.
Okay. We're trying.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a substantial shock on the system.
Yeah.
And what happens is you're not dotting all the I's, crossing the T's. The system has not scaled up, to be able to handle a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And you end up really kind of maybe missing some of the processes that were put in place previous, and inadvertently, a lot of people don't like that, and rightfully so. So you're trying to always catch up with the systems and processes as you're scaling up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mark, you brought up that great point about the number of new products you guys brought out last year versus what you're trying to do this year, and it's significant bump up. Do you want to just go deeper into maybe the why behind that, or what segments you guys are putting more product into?
Yeah, sure. It really at Kuryakin, it was about new products. Okay, and I focus mainly on the sales and marketing side, and a little bit on operational, depending on where that was. Mm-hmm. And Tom Ellsworth focused on the R&D side and delivering that product. And he would do him and his team would be like 365 new products a year. And, he would keep upping his goals. And now I'm actually involved in sales and marketing and also that process. And so I have a complete new appreciation for what he was doing back then that I didn't see, know.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge to say the least. And every time you come up with a new product, you have to test it out. You have to make sure you're sourcing it right. Make sure hopefully the consumers accept the MSRP on it. Mm-hmm. And then you have packaging, you have videos, you have photo shoots, you have this and that. And now it's like almost every single day there's that. Before it was once a month.
Right.
Now it's every single day.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I find myself doing a lot of things. We're smaller, of course, than where Kuryakin was. And I find myself doing a lot of things that I haven't done before, And I was actually shooting some social media at Parts Unlimited MVP, and Zach Parham comes by. He's like, "Man, you're not kidding. You said you do a lot." He goes, you're shooting the video too. I was like, "Yeah,
wearing a lot of hats."
Yeah, and to me, I find it very exciting. I love it. It brings me back to when I started.
Yeah, well, it certainly keeps you busy, right?
It does.
No dull moments.
No, there are no dull moments. No, you just geez, there's probably a million people better at doing this than me, and I hope to, that they're joining up sooner rather than later.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mark, you mentioned that growth in the product development that you guys are going to have this year. Are there specific segments that you guys are trying to tackle with those new products, or just certain accessories and apparel that you guys are going after?
Sure. Well, Big Bike Parts, was Big Bike Parts brand, Show Chrome brand, Hot Mill brand, Prairie Dog brand. Okay, and so one of the things we've done is we actually reduced all the brands to focus on Show Chrome, which we found about 86% of our customers would know Show Chrome.
Okay.
And then the other is UltraGard, as you can see on my shirt.
You got them right there.
I got them right here, and so the UltraGard is just covers. Okay. So anyway, the company was kind of founded on back in 1981, and it was going to be parts and accessories for metric cruisers and Goldwing. And the company kind of stuck with those platforms for quite a long time. And then in the 2000s, picked up Indian. They would do some Harley Davidson. I was more like Harley guy, going to all the Sturgis, going to Daytona and all that. But we kind of, we'll do backrests, we'll do some storage options for Harley, right? Then the three-wheeler comes out from Can-Am. And so the owners at the time, they jumped on that, which was a good idea. And that's the Spider. And the Spider started gaining popularity. Then the Polaris Slingshot comes out.
Yep.
And then the Can-Am Ryker comes out. Okay? So right now, between Polaris Slingshot and Ryker, you got two of those are in the top 10 as far as on-road units sold in the United States, right? One of them is 28,000, 30,000. That's a Slingshot to get in. And the Ryker is probably 9,000 to 10,000. And the Ryker units are pretty high.
Yeah.
So our focus has really shifted to, what's hot. So we're still doing Goldwing. A lot of the dealers have had trouble getting Goldwings. In fact, even Rykers, even Slingshots.
Sure.
Like as an R&D Slingshot we needed, it was really tough to actually find that at the time, about a year ago.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the units are start showing up now, But anyway, to answer your question, we're Goldwing still.
Okay.
It's part of our foundation.
Yep.
And we just went into Slingshot. We, within the last 6 months, have introduced about 40 new part numbers for that. Okay.
Awesome.
The Ryker, we continue to make a new part for that almost every week. Okay. And then the Spider, we were pretty heavy on Spider. And so we have more for Spider than we do Ryker and Slingshot, but those we're working on catching up right now. Yeah. So Spider, you're going to see a couple new products, maybe one or two every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we just shot a video out yesterday. UTVs, our first UTV product is coming out next week.
Okay.
Side by side.
Awesome. Do you want to elaborate on exactly what that'll be?
Yeah, really, really simple. It's going to be a soundbar.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be called the Perfect Storm 27-inch soundbar.
Nice.
By Powerbase. And Powerbase is a partner of ours. We found it was best to go with, partner up with somebody that really, that's all they did was focus on sound. And their ownership there is fantastic and their products are fantastic. And so we're really excited to be working with them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a whole new thing going with the UTV product, and you mentioned the Goldwing and Can-Am and Polaris Slingshot stuff. When it comes to those three, are there specific parts that are kind of top of the list, top sellers that you guys have out there?
Yeah. Well, we actually manufacture probably about 40% of our product in the United States. Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
And some of it's actually manufactured in our building in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. We're going to do all the sewing of our backrest and a lot of the luggage pieces and covers in Rice Lake. Okay. And then we have different sourcing companies from around the nation as well. So that's quite a bit, I think, compared to a lot of companies like us, accessory companies. I think we're probably, for our size, we're probably producing more in the United States than most. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so to answer your question, backrest, are very, very good sellers for us because they always have been. And people know us as backrests. And we just released a new backrest called the Grande backrest. So we have kind of a smaller one, a mid-sized one, and a larger one, Grande. And we're trying to match up the fabrics too with the different types of OEM seats that are out there and everything. That's one. The pouches for more storage, because everyone's always looking for more storage.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing. So we're producing more of these pouches for the models really specific to what I told you here that we're focused on.
Yeah.
But we're also matching up the fabric with the OEM seats as well. Yeah.
That's great.
So we have that. Lighting. The company's relatively new to the lighting. For me at Kuryakin, we did a ton of it, right? And that's really exciting because everybody that rides wants more light. And so more lights are coming out, and you're going to be able to see that. Sign up at our website for the emails that come every week, because there's literally a new one coming every single week right now. Yeah. So then you have lighting. There's also going to be driver and passenger comfort. Those are going to be highway pegs, floorboards. We have new floorboards coming out. Grips for the Riker. We have really, really cool grips coming out for the Riker. I think dressing it up like matching pieces like axle caps and shifter lever covers and bar end weights. We try to get a really consistent matching look, whether it's the Slingshot, the Riker, or the Spider.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these other pieces that go in there. And then, of course, the covers, which we sell an awful lot of, because UltraGard, people have always known us for covers, and so we're continually going there. The difference with our covers is each cover is really tailor-made to a specific model, so it fits really, really tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Mike, like you said, plenty of new product, and then things that you guys have always been doing that you're continuing to grow and evolve, and that's awesome to hear. Now I want to talk a little bit about how you guys go to market, because you do allow people to buy parts directly from the website, but you also have a dealer network that you work through as well.
We do.
Do you want to just elaborate on those two things?
Yeah. Okay, so on our website, we don't do a whole lot of business. We have MSRP. We offer MSRP. We feel it's important to keep the high retail value, to set the bar. Folks can buy from our website, but there's no discounting at all.
Yeah.
And so we work with a lot of the big retailers like slingmods.com. They're fantastic. They have a very innovative founder and leader there, and he's been able to get in this market, and everybody knows him. Everybody. So they're a great company. Dennis Kirk, I've always worked with Dennis Kirk and their team over there. They're going to be big on Goldwing. Some of these others, the newer stuff that's coming in. There's J&P Cycles, there's Revzilla.
Yep.
And then we have probably direct, a couple thousand dealer direct accounts that we would have of local stores. Broward Motorsports, one thing that's happened here since I left and came back in the industry is there's been a consolidation in the dealerships.
Sure.
And so I knew Broward. Sam Nemi's a good friend, and I have a lot of respect for him. He doesn't come from much. He takes a store in Davie, Florida, and they were not doing very well when he took over, and so he kind of risked himself. But anyway, I think he's got 6 or 7 locations now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's a great guy, and so we work with them a lot. There's Mountain Motorsports. There's a lot of these good groups.
Yeah.
And then on the distribution side, we distribute in the United States the way Show Chrome, so there's no big bike parts anymore. The way Show Chrome has set it up was they were with Parts Unlimited, Tucker Rocky, and Western Powersports. Okay. We just opened up Parts Canada as our Canadian distributor.
Okay.
And before I got there, they opened up Parts Europe. Okay. And I think Parts Europe's fantastic because when I left, a lot of people doubted Fred Fox. about opening up this behemoth building in Trier, Germany, right? I was lucky enough to get a tour with him and Fred's wife Paula and Hans, who runs Parts Europe. And I remember walking through there right after they finished the building. There was nothing there. And everybody doubted Fred. They're like, he's never going to be able to penetrate this market. But sure enough, I go to Milan, Italy. We team up with Parts Europe this last fall, and they're gigantic in Europe now. It's amazing, and so they do.
That's good to hear.
They do a great job for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, very good. Mark, I'll leave you with this. Again, a lot of exciting things going on for you guys in 2023 here, and more products than you guys have put out in years past. What are you guys kind of looking forward to? What does that same growth get carried year to year? Is it going to be 80 products every year now? What's kind of coming down the pipeline?
You have to be a little bit measured, okay? Because this is a big difference than last year.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure we do this right. Okay, if we do it right, then you're going to see more next year. Mm-hmm. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. UTVs, like I said, the company's first UTV part is coming out next week, and so that'll keep us occupied as well for some time. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, Mark, I don't think I've got anything else for you right at the moment. Let me know if there's anything else you want to mention before we hop off. But if not, I do really appreciate the time and appreciate you being here in the studio.
Yes, likewise. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Well, guys, we appreciate you watching this episode of Power Players. Make sure you're checking out everything that's going on at Big Bike Parts, UltraGard, and Show Chrome. And as always, make sure you're checking out Motorcycle and Powersports News for more motorcycle and powersports content. We'll see you guys next time.